I'm down. I've got the 411, and you are not going out and getting jiggy with some boy. Welcome back to Bizarre Podcast, Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip, and we are talking about episodes 14 through 16 of the Diamond is Unbreakable anime.
Oh, man. We skipped 1 week because it was like Halloween last week, so I have been chomping at the bit to talk about these 3 fucking episodes. Like 2 weeks ago, I watched these, and I've just been like sitting on it. Been sitting on it.
It does feel like a clean break, like we are in a new chapter, right? In a sense. And so let's start right off with episode 14. Let's go to the manga artist's house, part 1. It's a big house, I guess. You got at least 2 parts of this house.
Yeah, it's like a museum in itself. So the episode starts off with Koichi just walking home from school. Man, he is beat. Can't wait to get home. But who's this? It's Hazamata, and he's gotten even smaller.
But he's been out of the hospital for a day or two, and they catch up. Turns out Koichi has the wonderful line, "You won't believe it, but he found an invisible baby yesterday."
Yeah. And then Hazamata, like sure, he has a stand. He has fought other stands at this point, but it still feels like hearing "we found an invisible baby the other day" would still make you take a pause. But he's just like, what? Whoa. An invisible baby.
This is important because it explains why Joseph is still in town. He is not leaving until they rehouse this baby.
Yep.
Just give him to the no-kill baby shelter and hopefully find a forever home.
Yep. I want that one. The invisible one.
This baby loves Joseph.
Yeah.
Babies love Joseph, universally.
Yep. That kind of establishes all that stuff going on with Joseph, and while they just start walking home together.
Looking shorter than ever when they're together somehow.
They're so tiny. Yeah, you put them together, they get even smaller somehow. And Hazamata brings up like, hey, Koichi, do you like manga? Are you a fan of Pink Dark Boy, which we did see in that episode with Hazamata several weeks ago?
And Koichi's like, manga's okay. I like it as much as anybody, I guess. Wait, Pink Dark Boy? Hell yes. I fucking love Pink Dark Boy. I gotta make friends like this. I just gotta start screaming about The Expanse Season 6 until my hair goes vertical.
Oh my god, yeah. I love this scene just because they both squat and just start screaming, like going Super Saiyan, about how stoked they are about the manga Pink Dark Boy. And also, Hazamata brings up that, hey, the guy who... the author of that manga, he lives here in Morio now. He moved here recently. Wanna go bug him?
So Pink Dark Boy is apparently some sort of psychological horror title that in between all the gruesome and gory shocks still has like a heart and depth of character to it.
Yeah. What could this possibly be? What manga could this possibly be based off of?
See, Hazamata does indeed have the 411. He's down, and he's going to go get jiggy with the author, who recently moved to Morio, the weirdo capital of the world.
Yep. The reason why Hazamata knows about this is because he was at like a manga store and overheard some like older, like some grown-up adults like just whispering about it, and he like immediately just wrote down the address.
So this is not unprecedented, right? In the history of comic artists, like there are a lot of stories of teenagers like making pilgrimages out to Jack Kirby's house and his wife Roz making them sandwiches and while they would watch him work.
This is only a little related, but it just reminded me of a work story I have where that's a pretty wholesome of just like, you know, the creators and like their relatives just being like welcoming the people who show up. That's not the same with game development, where one time many years ago, I think before I worked at Volition, 2 teenagers really wanted to see what game Volition was making, and so like they just went up to the lobby and just waited for someone to like leave and have the door open, and then they just walked right in and pretended to be QA testers or something. And, I mean, they got caught pretty quickly, but...
I mean, I would imagine that, like, you know, Roy Thomas or whoever was coming in this week, you know, knocked and announced themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't just hop the garden fence.
Yeah, they just... Yeah, we're just going to climb the tree and watch the master at work. But, yeah, the 2 of them have reached the author's house. The colors get real weird here. The sky is like a dark pea green or something, and they start kind of talking about this author Rohan Kashibe. He published his first work at 16, and now he's like a super prolific author, and he's only 20. And they're going back and forth on who should ring the doorbell, and Hazamada's apparently Koichi Sr.?
Apparently.
So he orders Koichi to open the door.
He's had a stand longer. He's that kind of senior.
Yeah, sure. And so, yeah, they're very nervous about meeting this guy, and Koichi very slowly reaches towards the doorbell, and before he can even touch it, the door just flies open, and Rohan is there, and his hand just shoots out and grabs Koichi by the wrist, and he's got like a very intense serial killer look on his face.
Yeah, they say he looks just like his author photo in the back of the book, and like his author photo must be frightening.
Yeah, yeah. So after that scare, Rohan kind of reverts to like normal human mode and not serial killer mode. Just asking like, hey, what do you kids want? And this is when we first get like a full look at him, and he dresses like a clown. He is a big, tall clown. Yeah, he's got white pants, purple turtleneck shirt, purple button-up turtleneck with a green sleeveless vest over it that he's only buttoned like the first 2 buttons, so he's got a bunch of like almost midriff going on. He's got like swoop to the side green hair and like almost Caesar's headband, but if it was just a solid color. Yeah, he's asking them, what the fuck do you want? These 2 kids are terrified of him immediately.
Yes, he's a very scary man.
He's super
He has
scary.
very sharp earrings. He has like pencil nibs for earrings.
Yeah, they're like fountain pen nibs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But after they freak out and sort of, profusely apologize, like, we're so sorry to bother you, we'll leave. He says a really a weird thing of just like, maybe you 2 are on the same wavelength as me. Come on in.
So yeah, we start to exchange our introductions and get the lay of the land. He moved in about 3 months ago in order to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city and to live anonymously and secluded. Do you get the hint? Maybe you shouldn't be coming around here. But maybe also you shouldn't have your realtor just blab about the address in front of a manga shop of all places.
Yep. So there's a shot when Rohan starts acting nice and friendly and invites them in, and they both go inside. And there's like a real quick close-up shot of Koichi's feet passing over the threshold. Like that was a really bad idea. But yeah, Rohan's like, hey, I'm gonna make a tea. I'll get you like cookies or fucking whatever. Come see how I work. And so they go upstairs to his like workshop. He's got like a whole bunch of like framed illustrations of Pink Dark Boy scenes, and they are all wild looking. There is a clown balancing on a ball on a night sky on an infinite staircase that ascends up to the moon. And the clown's got a sword.
Yeah. This is normal stuff. This is absolutely... When I look at that image, I think, yes, dark psychological horror with a lot of gore, but also weighted in character drama.
And then, like, the other illustration is just some, like, elf-looking guy in a purple jumpsuit kind of, like, screaming at the moon.
Oh, well, that was from his previous series before Pink Dark Boy. We don't talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
With, quote, countless people dying around 3 months ago, the price on this place must have been unbeatable. Like, he'd be a fool not to move in here.
Like, yeah, you get to see, a decent amount of his house. It's huge. It's a big house. It's 2 floors. It might have a basement.
It's a buyer's market in Morio. And
yeah. So yeah, when they marvel at those illustrations framed up on the wall, and Hazamada starts to cry because the impact of seeing the real pieces in front of you and not, mass-produced prints, it just hits different.
And this whole time they're getting the tour, I'm thinking, there's no way he's working for, like, Weekly Shonen Jump. Like,
yeah, no.
All these people with their schedules, like, well, let's see. If I only sleep 3 hours a day, I might be able to actually do my shopping on the weekends.
Yeah. And also, like, this episode makes it clear a little bit later on, but Rohan has no assistants.
Yes.
He does the entire manga on his own. Yeah, Rohan's just telling them, it's so much easier to get a lot of work done in Morio because it's so chill and quiet. Yeah, and also, you can work remote these days in the 90s. I've got a fax machine.
The magic of fax machines, yes.
Yeah, he says something like it only takes like 4 whole hours to send a complete manuscript over, which that's also the Invisible Baby episode where there's that really quick shot of like someone you couldn't really see in the foreground, like giving somebody else a manuscript. That's him.
Okay,
That's
okay.
him.
I thought Hand Guy might be an aspiring novelist, like so many villains are.
Right. Yeah, I believe that's supposed to be Rohan.
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
The way they get into the office, though, I don't want to get too far away from, because they are like in the sort of opening vestibule, the hall of the home,
right.
And the front door closes, and then it opens again from the other side, like the hinges swapped, or like a Jacob's Ladder toy, and now it is the office door.
Yeah, I forgot about that transition. It's good.
It's incredible.
So many of those transitions are done so well and seamlessly that half the time they don't even register for me until I go back and go like, wait, that was cool.
So now we are getting his schedule, talking about 19 pages in 4 days. Again, this is Jack Kirby numbers.
Yeah. And Rohan's acting like, oh yeah, no big deal. He does 19 pages in 4 days every week, and like 4 or 5 of those pages are always in full color. And so he uses his free days to go traveling, talking about how like he chose to be a mangaka because he doesn't really like dealing with people. Assistants would be annoying, so that's why he does it all on his own. Yeah.
At least Kirby was passing it on to the equally fast of Vince Coletta, who was so fast because he just didn't do the background sometimes. They're like, oh, there's 3 people in this panel? Now there's only 2. There we go. Let's pass that along to Stan.
Yep. So while Rohan's like talking about his work schedule, he spots a big ass spider crawling up on Hazamada's shoulder. And so he's like, yo, hold on, give me a sec. And he just plucks that spider off Hazamada's shoulder, walks over to his triangular bookcase and pulls out like a book on arachnids and flips until he can identify which one it is. Because
reality is the key to entertainment.
Yep.
Says the man in the series about psychic warriors killing vampires. But we'll set that aside. The point he's about to make in this big monologue is something like the plausible impossible, to use the term coined by the Disney studio artists in the 50s when they like literally wrote the book on animation, right?
Yeah.
We can believe impossible things if they are somehow grounded. Like, as long as there is some measure of action and reaction, then, Daffy Duck can, like, make a sailboat fly with only his breath if we see him taking such huge inhales, right?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. That's the point that Rohan is trying to make, which is why his impossible horror imagery has to be rooted in the exact minute details of spider anatomy.
Yeah. And when he's explaining this, every like couple of beats, like to emphasize certain words he's saying, the shot that he is being animated in becomes turns more and more into a manga panel.
Yes, he's even framed with like a graduated drafting board with like measurements in centimeters. Yeah,
and it's like the frame appears around him and then speed lines behind him. Then he gets like the halftone on his shadows. It's fun. A good manga artist has to experience a lot of things in life, both for inspiration and to ground things appropriately for when you do the crazy shit. And so he's got a magnifying glass, and he goes over, is talking about, spider anatomy and talking about how this spider spins its webs, and it's like, spider silk only hardens when exposed to air, but which hole in the spider does it come out of? And then he takes an X-Acto knife and just guts the spider. And then what do the death throes of a spider look like when its stomach has been cut? You have to know this shit if you want to illustrate reality.
Let's hope his research into human anatomy is a little less invasive.
Yeah, and Koichi and Hazama are like, holy fucking shit, and he's just like, shut up, you pussies, this is art. And then he starts licking the spider a whole bunch. You gotta know how it tastes.
I mean, that's one way to convince the neighborhood kids to stop coming by, but I don't think I could commit to the bit. I don't know.
And so as Rohan's licking this spider repeatedly, Koichi just thinks out loud, manga artists aren't normal, and then Hazamata pukes all over the floor. And Rohan sees Hazamata just hurling all over the floor, and he doesn't get mad, but rather he says, oh man, that pained expression is fucking incredible. Keep puking, I need to draw you puking.
So Hazamata, you know, a big fan, dutifully tries to keep puking, but Rohan's like, nah, I can tell you're faking it. This isn't real anymore. Fuck this shit. That's fake puke now. Fuck you.
Rohan is such a fucking freak. I love it.
So Koichi and Hazamata are at an impasse. They disagree on whether they should leave or not, because Hazamata is such a Pink Dark Boy, a fanboy.
Yeah.
He is the Pink Dark Boy after all. Careful, Koichi. Last time a friend disagreed with Hazamata about like a movie or some shit, he gouged his own eye out. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a shot here where Hazamata is still like fanboying over Rohan, and he's doing this while he still has like puke trailing down his face. So yeah, Koichi's just like, no, yeah, Rohan's super cool. I just have a really bad feeling about being here. I don't like any of this. Please, let's just leave. But they're alone in Rohan's, you know, workshop, and Hazamata's saying, okay, but before we go, we got to take a peek at that thing over there. And he points at a thick manila envelope that's sitting on the desk, and it's Rohan's new transcript. It's the next chapter of Pink Dark Boy that no one else has been able to set eyes on yet. Yeah,
this guy might be shady as hell, but I gotta peek at his secrets.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rohan is just standing outside the door, peering in through the crack. This is Willy Wonka with even less plausible deniability. I see you.
Yep.
Gonna kill these fucking kids, aren't you?
Hazamata grabs the manuscript, all 19 pages, and slowly starts to pull it out of the envelope. Once it's fully out, this green, like, energy just starts shooting out, just like a really strong wind out of the pages of the manga. And they're like, holy fucking shit, this is the most incredible chapter of a manga I have ever read!
This whole green energy thing also happened with Jack Kirby's pencils. Little known fact.
They're hooked. They can't stop reading this thing. And after going through a couple pages, Rohan comes in, and he is overjoyed that these two kids are compatible with his work.
Yeah, that's not ominous at all.
No,
but he announces that they are now subject to the power of his stand, Heaven's Door. He does not know the word stand. He will learn it over the course of this adventure, but he does have one, and he has named it.
Yep, my ability, Heaven's Door. And so Koichi starts reaching out towards Hazamata and just saying like, hey, I really don't feel right. I feel like really bad. What the fuck is happening? And then the skin on one of his fingers peels off and unravels, and the layers of his skin, and also where there should be muscle and bone, are pages of a book.
He's got book for hands. He's got handbooks. You've heard of a handbook? Well, this is a book hand. It's kind of like that, but very different. And then he's got a face book. His book is a face. His face is a book.
Yep. Skin all over Koichi's body, and even like his chest and stuff just peels open, flaps open, and underneath is just book, and his skin's just got layers, pages and pages. So Rohan, like Koichi falls to the floor, and Rohan just starts reading. Like the phrase, I can read you like a book, that is Rohan's stand.
That's it.
Literally.
That's the whole thing. Yes.
Yeah.
So this brings us to another landmark title card, Rohan Kishibei's house. There it is.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of information about it in a language I can't read. Ta-da!
I wish I could read it, yeah.
Heaven's Door, of course, named for Knockin' on Heaven's Door, the Bob Dylan song that I thought for the longest time was a Guns N' Roses original, because that's the one I heard first.
Oh, shit, yeah. I also thought that.
So back in the action, like the complete life story, pretty common idea to work from. You know, so many like world religions imagine that there is a book of your life. The first episode of Loki, the streaming show. But now the book is in your body. You every day you write the book, to quote Elvis Costello, keeping it musical, but and it's there under your skin.
Yeah, Rohan is flipping through the pages of Koichi's body, just getting all these details of Koichi's entire life, and then once he hits April 1999, he goes, "Whoa, wait, what the fuck is this?" And he's starting to...
Exactly. Nothing unusual happened to him until a month ago.
Yeah. You know, he's just reading all of the events that Koichi has experienced throughout Diamond is Unbreakable, and Rohan is just going like, holy fucking shit. Stands? Other people have these abilities? Also, wow, this is incredible material for my manga. Jotaro Kujo, that's a badass character.
Pink Dark Boy is about to have stand fights, and I do not know how the audience will respond.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is a really funny, like, fourth wall breaking thing where this Imagine manga author is just reading JoJo and going, it's so good!
So we do learn some things about Koichi. His birthday is March 28th, 1984. On that day, 11 tornadoes touched down in the Carolinas, killing 57 people and injuring hundreds more.
Oh my god, Koichi.
He was born in S City. This is the city that Rohan just moved from a few months ago. Apparently, it is just the nearest metropolis to Morio.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to hear it mentioned again in part 2, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wasn't there also a detail that Koichi was, like, born prematurely or something like that?
Yes, he spent 7 days in an incubator in the NICU.
Yeah.
Also, his self-book knows Love Deluxe's name, even though it never came up in dialogue.
Maybe Koichi's been talking to Yukako off-screen. I don't know.
He's had time. Yeah, okay.
He's had time.
But yeah, there is something very self-congratulatory about having a character essentially read the book and then say, these are all really exciting with engaging characters.
It's so funny.
But like, the thing is, Rohan is such an off-putting creep, it doesn't come off like back-patting.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Like, there's a lot of other media and stories that could pull something like this, and I'd be like, fuck off with that. But here, it's just like, no, I'm all for it.
It would be one thing if it was all of, the average 14-year-olds at the manga shop reading Koichi and being like, yes, this is the greatest character living the greatest adventure of all time.
Yeah.
But it's this fucking weirdo.
Yeah. Fucking weirdo who seems to get, like, it doesn't matter what he's seeing happening or what he's experiencing, anything and everything gives him pleasure because it can somehow be made into material, so...
Yeah.
He licked a spider and thought that was good shit.
I don't know about all your manga, but my manga is very popular with lonely shut-ins who torture spiders and then lick them.
Yeah.
That's my demo.
Oh, man. One of my biggest fans that found my house feels like he could be a school shooter, so... Like, Koichi isn't being hurt by this being turned into a book process, but he's
only psychologically.
Yeah, he's real fucking freaked out about this, and so he sends out echoes to defend himself. He throws his little like sound effect tail spike and completely whiffs it, and he tries like 2 more times and just keeps whiffing it.
Because these are not read-only memories, so to speak.
Yeah.
Kishibe is an editor as well. He can make notes in the margin and then change your very self.
Yeah, so there's a blank spot in Koichi's like pages where he just wrote, I cannot harm Rohan Kishibe. And this is the point where you realize, holy fucking shit, Heaven's Door is one of the most powerful stands in the universe. Is if you could just write in anybody, like, fucking anything, and it becomes true.
Just like Thoth, we have a stand ability that raises enough questions to float an entire subgenre of speculative fiction.
Yes.
Every story you've ever seen where the main character is a robot, you can do that. That's what this is.
Yep.
What is free will? Is there an author of your life? Like fucking Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell. That's Heaven's Door.
Yeah. Araki realizes this too because Rohan eventually gets a spin-off manga and an animated series. So there you go. I like Heaven's Door a lot. It feels absurdly broken in a really interesting way because there's no punching or fighting involved at all. Also, I like this part where Rohan is going, explaining what he just did to Koichi because Koichi has grabbed his, his face is peeled off, and so he's put it back on, the correct way, but it's not lining up quite correctly. So there's extra space around where his eyes are, where you can see the pages too, and it looks really creepy.
It's disgusting. I mean, it's not disgusting. That's the thing, but it's very off-putting.
Yeah, it's pretty freaky.
It is nightmarish.
Koichi's just stunned because he can't fucking hurt this dude or do anything. And so Rohan just goes back to reading more pages and going everybody thinks you're a wimp, but when push comes to shove, you're a fucking tough dude. You can conquer your fears. Hazamada also falls over and he's all of his pages flip open. Yeah, it's time to read him, and he's a real piece of work. I take back what I said. I don't want him in the show no more. Get rid of this fucking fool. I don't like him. Sucks.
Hazamada sucks.
While he seems much nicer now that he's been beaten up and realizes he shouldn't use his stand for evil, all the inner thoughts of Hazamada are some real, near school shooter shit. He likes to torture small animals like kittens and birds. A difference between the sub and dub here. Yeah, a big one. In the dub, it's, you want to have your way with Junko from Class E of third year, but you're too big of a wimp to do it. The fucking subs is not have your way with, it's just fucking rape. And it's just oh my god.
Yeah. And then he says, and then he makes fun of him for having sweaty balls.
Yeah. Your balls get sweaty and you itch them during class and get a thrill out of not getting caught while doing it. And it's just man, kick this kid out of the show. Beat him up more.
Rohan says, quote, putting someone like you in my manga would drive readers away. You think?
Whoa. And so Hazamada just falls over and goes boo-hoo, I suck.
But we see in this whole exchange, the only limit to Heaven's Door's abilities is Rohan's personal artistic ethics.
Yes, yeah.
Because, he wants to do the minimum amount of changes he can to Koichi because, Koichi is his muse now. Yeah. And to overwrite him would be to sully his inspiration.
Yeah.
Also, at one point between reading the two boys, he just, sketches an entire quick portrait in 3 strokes.
Yes. Rohan is a superpowered manga artist. It has nothing to do with his stand's abilities. He's just that good.
And that's how you finish 19 pages in 4 days, I guess.
Yeah, because you could just do an entire sketch in 3 strokes.
So Koichi is begging to be let go. Hey, what you don't need my memories. You have a fucking mortgage. Look at this mansion you have at age 20. Just lay off me.
Yeah.
And Rohan gets offended. You think I draw for money?
Yeah.
You think I'm in this for the awards?
Yeah, he makes manga so that people will read it. That's it. He just wants people to enjoy his work in some fashion. He doesn't give a fuck about anything else.
So what Kishibe Rohan is saying right here basically is everybody should go to 6 Feet Under. They should listen to the Mouse Guard campaign.
Yeah, man.
I promise it's good. You'll like it.
Yeah, please check it out. There's so much of it. You got
There's
so much
so
shit.
much of it.
You got so much stuff to listen to.
The second in-game year starts with a recap episode of the whole first year. So that's a perfect jumping on point.
Yeah.
But Rohan also talks about how, his new wellspring of creativity that opened up to him after he got shot with an arrow 3 months ago.
There you go.
Must have been a real rough moving day.
Yeah, the instant you're hauling stuff into this big-ass house and you get shot with an arrow.
Did I get shot with an arrow, or did I just throw my back out lifting this fax machine upstairs?
Yeah, I can't imagine Rohan would have other people help him move either.
He's got a fucking Xerox machine on the 2nd floor in a building with no elevator.
Who did that?
Tip your movers, Rohan. Tip them.
Please. So yeah, that's how he got the Heaven's Door ability.
Keicho's whole thing about shooting hardened criminals and sadists was a bluff, right? Because
it seems
we've
like
seen a lot of the people he shot, and they're just weird.
Yeah, he was just firing at random. He saw somebody that looked a little weird, was like picking their nose, and went like, "That guy's a sick fuck," and shot him with an arrow. Like,
so Keicho's just some kind of like moral crusader. He's a weirdly puritanical Japanese teen.
Yeah.
Hazamada's the only one who's a real bad guy, and we didn't even know how bad he was until he started being a little nicer.
Yeah. So, yeah, Rohan's explaining all this stuff, and he goes back over to Koichi and says, like, I have found the perfect story in your book, in you. He says, Koichi, I'm taking your reality for my own, and he grabs one of the, like, skin pages and tears it off of Koichi's face.
And now it bleeds.
And yeah, that actually hurts Koichi. Yeah, it's so gross, like seeing the paper rip and it bleeds.
And there's this incredible cut from this scene to the next because Rohan is doing a huge maniacal laugh, giddy in his victory, and then just a hard cut to a pleasant walk home. Da 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 da.
Yeah, both Koichi and Hazama are just like, wow, Mr. Rohan was such a nice guy. We're so happy we came. He even gave us these sketches with autographs. Tea and cookies. Let's go visit him again tomorrow. Yay!
So it's the next day, and Koichi's getting ready to face the day like a big brave boy. And he's weighing himself on the bathroom scale. Why? I don't know. Maybe he's trying out for the wrestling team. And he's shocked that he lost 20 kilograms.
Yeah.
Where did you lose 20 kilograms? That is half of you. Did your arm fall off?
Yeah, he weighs 19.5 kilograms now. And he's just like, what the fuck? This scale must be broken. He like puts a 5 kilogram weight on it. And no, it's right. And so he's really freaked out that half of his weight is gone. And so he runs out of the bathroom. And the instant he does that, he immediately forgets what it was he was freaking out about.
Incredible weight loss techniques. Behold the power of my stand. Zumba.
And so, yeah, he runs out. His older sister that's talking to her friend on the phone is just like, what are you doing? And he's just like, shit, I don't remember. Guess it wasn't too big of a deal.
Basically, we're now getting a vampire story, but like psychic vampirism, right?
Yeah.
Rohan is draining Koichi of his essence, but Koichi is bound to his lair and returns with this unconscious pull.
Mm-hmm. Koichi shows up at Rohan's house again that morning, and he's feeling unease, like there's something wrong here, but at the same time, he can't not go into Rohan's house.
But meanwhile, whenever the bros are not with Koichi, they are spying on Koichi. This keeps happening.
Yeah.
They have no other hobbies. They just spy on their little buddy.
I think they just are really rooting for him and really don't want anybody to fuck up this precious tiny guy. And so they're just always in the shadows, keeping an eye on him. Yeah, Josuke and Okuyasu are just like, who the fuck house is that? Why is Koichi going in there? We're really suspicious immediately. Whenever Rohan is being like evil, his house reflects that by becoming way darker lit.
Yes.
Currently, his entire house is unlit except for the candlelight that he is drawing by.
He's a vampire, yes.
Yeah.
He's a metaphorical vampire, analogous to vampire.
Rohan is drawing a new page of his manga, and he is like furiously drawing. He angrily drawing even. He looks so pissed off while doing it. But he sees Koichi is here, and he's so happy that his muse is back.
Yes. Quote, right on time for our session. Credits. So now, episode 15, let's go to the manga artist's house, part 2. And we open on the town of Morio reflected in the eye of a crow eating a spider. And then we go right back to the final moments of the last episode. Just a replay of Koichi going back into the house.
Yep.
And once we've caught up with the present, we see Rohan pledging to do the next pages with 10 minutes per page.
Yeah.
This is less realistic than a screaming chicken that lives inside batteries.
And so we get to see how Rohan does a page in 10 minutes.
You know that part in iRobot where Sonny is like sketching his dream?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's the fastest drawing I can remember, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen it, this robot draws a whole landscape from his memory through cross-hatching, but he does all the vertical lines, so it looks like nothing. And then he does all the horizontal lines. And it's a cool effect as the picture eventually takes shape.
Yeah, yeah.
Rohan draws about that fast.
Yep. At first,
that's what I'm getting to.
At first, it's just, a million Dragon Ball Z punches, but with a pen and going over a page, and somehow a picture forms. But then you get a far more detailed animation where you actually see the drawing, being done by his hand at lightning speed.
And what he's drawing is a tiny zoot suit man dashing along a suburban street in front of a Volkswagen Beetle parked on the curb. Yeah. I guess this is the Pink Dark Boy, the titular boy of Pink Darkness.
So Koichi is marveling at Rohan's technique, not just because it's super fast, but because he did no pencils. He went straight to inks. Yes.
And then his technique for the spot blacks, for filling in the all black portions is incredible. He just picks up his pen and flicks it with such deft precision that globs of ink fill in the spots that where it's needed perfectly and exactly, not crossing the lines with like nice evenness, not soaking through like you would expect, say, a glob of flung ink. It is the most shonen-ass thing in the history of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is why Koichi is at his Krillinist during this whole drawing escapade.
Yeah, it's just speed lines behind Koichi's. He's just like, holy shit, look at that. And like Koichi is a big enough manga nerd to also know the name of spot blacks and knowing that you do pencils before you do inks and all that shit. Koichi is just marveling at how quickly Rohan did this. And Rohan is like in a feverish sweat. Like his creativity is so intense and unbound that he can't, it feels like Rohan himself cannot keep up with how fast he needs to get this creativity out. So he's
he's been drawing this entire chapter in a day. That's 4 times as fast as even he can do it.
Yeah, and he is just sweating. He's like almost losing his mind, and he grabs like 10 brushes all at once in a line. No, not 10, it's like 24.
Just a fistful of brushes.
Yeah, and so
the prequel to For a Few Brushes More.
Yeah, he's got all of these paint brushes in one hand. He's telling Koichi, like, bro, I need another page from your face. I gotta rip another one out. Like, sure, you're gonna keep losing weight, but you'll live on through eternity through my works. As this happens, Koichi's face like flips open. And this is when Koichi remembers everything that had happened the previous time he was here with Heaven's Door and all this shit. And this is where we get the second opening of the show. Yes.
The new OP is a music video that a boy band makes to prove they have edge and grit.
Yes, yeah.
This is when the bad boy grows a soul patch in the history of the boy band.
Yeah, compared to Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town, this one is far edgier feeling. It's got a darker like color palette and tone to it.
We see a lot of future stand. There's a lot of Rohan in it, actually. There's the stand user from the next episode makes an appearance. So and a lot of characters I don't recognize yet, including there's even more girls in this one.
There's even more girls. Yeah,
we haven't met all the girls.
Yeah, there's multiple more ladies to meet still. And yeah, you go through all that, and then the opening kind of ends with maybe one of the more like normal shonen OP things in a JoJo opening was just the main cast all lined up ready to fight something, and then they go reach out to touch whatever this new antagonist is as it zooms into his eyeball.
I guess we should mention that in these episodes, I think it's this one that we're talking about at the end. The ending also changes by adding more of the recent characters to it.
Yep.
So Rohan and his book make an appearance in the ending from here on out. Akira and Joseph are out at the docks at the very end. Yeah.
So yeah, after we return from the opening, Rohan is, just going crazy again. He's ready to rip out another page from Koichi's face, but ding dong, the boys are here. What the fuck's going on here?
And Rohan is very confused why there might be boys here looking for the boy he has here. He writes a manga and he doesn't know what friends are?
Yeah.
I guess there ain't a lot of nakama in the psychological horror genre.
Yeah.
He doesn't deal with that shit.
As Rohan is looking out the window wondering why these two guys are here, Koichi is crawling all the way down to the first floor trying to reach the front door to get help. As he opens the door, the instant he walks out, all of the pages on his body close up, and he forgets why he forgets about the trouble he's in, and he just says like, "Oh, hey guys, I'm just visiting a friend. Nothing weird going on here. You can leave."
He seems to have doorway-based amnesia.
Yeah.
Also, but before Koichi goes down, before he, runs to make this escape that suddenly isn't an escape, Rohan says, quote, "Josuke and Okuyasu don't interest me right now," which I think is a very interesting line because, Rohan is considered the self-insert, right?
Yes.
That is a thing that everybody says.
Yeah, even if he may not act the way that, Araki does, perhaps, it is absolutely his self-insert, or his the anime shonen mangaka equivalent of a fursona, maybe. His OC.
There's an undeniable pull to want to read Rohan that way, to put him in that box. Yeah. But I think it is limiting and it is constricting because, you could fall into an infinite hole. What does it mean for Araki's self-insert to say, Josuke and Okuyasu don't interest me right now?
Yeah.
And you could just fall in that spiral, and so many more interesting strands of thought and engagement will just pass you by.
Yeah. It is a very common thing to think that he is a self-insert. I don't really believe that. I do think Araki probably puts some of himself in that character, but I think it's more just...
Oh, for sure.
Just it almost feels like Araki thinking, man, if I could be what I envisioned the perfect mangaka to be, the frustrations of how long it takes to make X amount of pages and all that shit. It's just dude, what if I could just do it in 4 days and have a weekend every week?
A 3-day weekend,
even. A 3-day weekend, dude. Damn. What if I had no assistants? That'd probably be nice.
That's kind of a weird thing to say when so many of his assistants work on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently everything for Pink Dark Boy itself is by a specific one of Araki's assistants.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who also has done a lot of the stand art for title cards and a lot of other things for the anime.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Another thing that I think is interesting about Rohan is that, much in the way Yukiko did, he pulls the series into a different genre. It's just a genre that is a lot, closer on the spectrum to JoJo's than, Yukiko's.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why Rohan appears a bunch in this OP, and, there's just a lot of fun shit to do with Rohan.
Because this whole thing about, screaming and running for your life, and then as soon as you open the door, just suddenly that blinks away. It's frightening. It is a frightening thought, the loss of oneself and one's own mind.
Yeah.
And then it happens 3 times in quick succession, and it becomes an incredible gag.
Yes, yeah. It's a really funny, hard cut of, pleasant Koichi acting like everything's normal. The instant the door closes is a hard cut to all of Koichi's, skin pages opening up and him going ah! And then he opens the door and he's normal again. Then he closes the door. Ah! It's really funny.
So Okuyasu and Josuke are informed that that this is this manga artist I really like. He lives here. He makes tea. He lets me watch him work. It's all cool. I'll be to school on time. I promise. Maybe a little late, but you don't got to worry about me.
Yeah.
And Josuke's okay. I'm not really that into manga. I got made fun of for not knowing enough about manga.
Yeah, about permit or whatever.
And we all know that Okuyasu only talks about sports manga so far.
Yes. Yeah. After that bit, Koichi makes his way back up to the second floor into Rohan's workshop, and he's just freaking out, going God damn, Heaven's Door is so powerful. There's no way to attack him. I don't know what to do. And Rohan is just having a good time drawing more pages, and now he has both Facebook pages he's ripped out of Koichi's head on a little stand he's made that they're like clamped up almost like fucking like x-rays sort of. It looks really medical and creepy,
or like tiny laundry on a line.
Yeah, because like, you know, they still have the shape of Koichi's face in a vague way, but like they're drooping a little bit because they're being hung up, and it's creepy looking.
I mean, with the eye holes and the mouth hole and everything. Yeah. So Rohan talks about how if he uses too much of Koichi, he'll be a lifeless husk.
Yeah. Which
is, you know, a scary threat, but also from, you know, the creative side of things, does over-defining a character eliminate their charm? Like, how important is it when you draw maps to leave blanks? Do you have to leave behind some empty holes to put your narrative hooks into?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Okuyasu kicks in the window and shoots steam out of his nose like a cartoon bull ready to kill a matador.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
He just tells Rohan, don't fucking move. I'll beat the living shit out of you if you do anything. Rohan is keeping his cool, not moving. You know, he's still got his back to Okuyasu here. And it turns out the reason why Okuyasu knew something was up was because when Koichi was crawling down to the first floor, at some point he cut one of his fingers open and he was bleeding and did not notice. But Rohan is cool and collected here because by reading Koichi, he already knows a ton about Okuyasu.
Yes.
He knows all about Keicho and his complex he's got with his brother and all that shit.
And how easy it is to just trick him.
Yep.
As Okuyasu is winding up for a big punch with the hand, Rohan just unveils some of these new pages right in his eye line. And so the hand's arm unwinds.
Yeah.
Like, basically like turns into a thrown roll of toilet paper.
Yep.
Or just an exploded slinky, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just that you can have your pages peel open. You can just unravel into a roll of paper. And so, Okuyasu completely taken out of the fight, just disabled now because he's just a roll of paper on the fucking floor.
Yeah. It happened to the hand, but it also happened to Okuyasu. It transfers, and all of his limbs are just useless. He cannot get up. He cannot stand.
Yep. Right after this, we get a new, interstitial with Rohan and his stand, but his stand does have a defined form, but it's still in silhouette.
Because we have not seen it yet, and we will not see it by the end of this episode.
Yeah, it's a little bit before we see what Rohan's stand actually looks like. But back in the action, Rohan has already perceived that Josuke is also in his house, just hiding behind the door to the room. Koichi is having a hard time, telling his friends what to do.
Koichi's just having a hard time.
He's having a hard time all around.
Time.
But yeah, especially because there is writing in Koichi that states that he can't say anything that could bring harm to Rohan. So he's having a real hard time advising his friends in this fight at all.
This is why he had door-based amnesia, and it's why he cannot say anything about the nature of Heaven's Door to Josuke outside the regular kind of door, a very terrestrial door.
Yeah. And so we're kind of at a standstill here. Josuke has determined that you can't look at the manga without, falling victim to Heaven's Door. So it's just kind of a standoff with like, well, shit, Rohan's trapped in this room. He's taken 2 guys out, but there's one more dude that could punch him in the face real hard. But also the guy that could punch him in the face real hard doesn't know how to get into this room without also being turned into a roll of paper.
Yeah, so we're at this standoff, and Rohan is monologuing, trying to goad him into some action that is counterable, trying to think about what steps he'll take next. What if every villain monologue was just a real bad attempt at reverse psychology?
Yeah.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to think my plan is the opposite of that. What will you do now, 007?
So yeah, Rohan is saying out loud that, I bet Josuke is currently thinking of a way to escape the house and get help from other people. And then like reading Koichi's, one of Koichi's pages saying like, Josuke would never run away. But as a mangaka, you have to pick up the habit of considering every single possible situation that could arise out of this.
Did you know that manga artists are all tactical geniuses?
Oh, man.
They are all 8 chess moves ahead at all times, minimum.
Okuyasu immediately buys into the stupid plan of Josuke leaving, and so he's just like, yeah, that could be great. And Koichi's just like, yeah, Yukako could probably help a lot with her hair.
It's nice to know he still thinks about her, I guess. But basically, the only way out is to hope that Rohan doesn't overdo it, and you just gotta forget the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Like, that'll teach you to track down a guy who moved to be alone, It serves you right, honestly.
Yeah. And while Rohan is doing this monologue, he's grabbed one of Okuyasu's noodly arms, like by the hand. Is just kind of swinging it around a bit. And he tosses it onto the floor and tells Koichi, like, hey, you should read what I just wrote in Okuyasu's arm page. And it says, if Josuke tries to help us, I'll burn myself to death.
Yes. Yes, he will.
And Okuyasu just laughs and goes like, that's fucking dumb. I would never do that. And in the middle of him saying that, his arm just slides in from out of frame holding a lighter, and it lights his other arm on fire. Yeah,
because your body doesn't just, unwind into pages. The pages have the properties of paper. Yeah. He is a very flammable boy.
Yeah. And so now Okuyasu's arm is on fire, and he's screaming and shit. And so this...
So now this spurs Josuke into action. He cannot take it anymore. Rohan may have all the powers of a god, but he is weak against blindfolds. Yes.
Yeah. As long as he don't see the manga.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't see the pages, Heaven's Door will not open him up. You know what? Go for it. Why not, big guy? You got this.
Yeah. So when Josuke comes into the room, he just doesn't have his eyes closed. He's got them his whole face scrunched up in almost like a really childish way.
It's incredibly childish.
Yeah.
It is a last-ditch attempt, and Rohan's like, that might work if I can't get you to open your eyes.
And so he grabs a whole bunch of fountain pen nibs, puts them in between his fingers, in the most shonen-ass way possible, and then just flicks them with extremely high precision, and they embed in Josuke's face. None of them get him right in the eye, but...
But even this does not break his resolve, does not open them peepers. So Rohan has to try something even trickier. He has to go back into the file, down into the vaults, to see something guaranteed to get a reaction out of Josuke. That's right, it's the return of the hair thing.
Yep. Josuke is sprinting towards Rohan, and so this is the one time we actually see JoJo time measured in units. Because we get to see Rohan's internal monologue on what exactly he should do, and it's 1,000th of a second or something. There's a little digital clock timer in the bottom left, just counting how long it actually took for Rohan to formulate this plan, and it's less than 1/10 of a second.
For no reason whatsoever do we get this clock.
It's so funny.
Just because we can. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, he starts unleashing a barrage of targeted insults against the coif.
Yep.
And we know how this goes. JoJo does enter a blind rage, so he's gonna open his eyes up and look at this guy to know just where to punch him. And when he opens his eyes, he sees the pages, and all seems lost, except he does continue to punch him. He kicks this dude's ass horribly. Tears apart the office. Furniture is flying everywhere. Rohan is a bloody pulp. It was a blind rage taken literally.
Yeah.
He's so angry he cannot read.
Yeah, he can't see shit. And he, even after he just absolutely destroys Rohan, he can't see. He's so pissed off. And so he just starts blindly tearing the entire room apart, trying to find Rohan so he can beat him up even more. Just kicking all the desks apart and shit.
I kind of wish the bros were switched, because it would be so funny if Josuke is on fire, Okuyasu has to save the day, and he's immune to Heaven's Door because he cannot read.
Yeah. So as Rohan had his ass kicked, Like Koichi and Okuyasu pull themselves back together. They're back to normal. The pages of Koichi's face fly back and reattach to himself, and he gets half of his weight back.
He took so many pages. He took so much out of that boy.
Yeah. Rohan is like barely conscious, just like blood pouring out of his mouth. A bookcase has him pinned down to the floor. And he's just like, fuck, that didn't work, and I didn't know about it. I guess because not even Koichi knew just exactly how pissed off Josuke could become when his hair is insulted. And he's like, there's got to be some fucking reason for why this makes him so pissed off.
And Koichi thinks, yeah, there might be. I half remembered a story that he told me part of.
And I didn't believe him at the time.
Yeah, I guess which is the get around for how Koichi knows this, but Rohan doesn't. So we have a bleak, snowy flashback for the origin story of Josuke's haircut.
Yeah.
Back to when Josuke was 4 years old, in the depths of the same pain and psychic tumult that was nearly killing Holly, remember? Back when the Joestar group was out in Egypt.
Yeah, Dio's curse.
So yeah, all that idyllic weather at Jotaro's house when they're getting ready to leave, that was a month before the worst blizzard in Morio history?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. But Dio's curse has hit Josuke so hard that his mother is terrified for his life. They need to go to the hospital in the big city, S-City, mentioned for the third time in this two-parter. She didn't even want to wait for the ambulance. She's driving herself, but they are stuck in a snowed-in road, trapped in their own slippery snow tracks. And they are rescued by a teenage gangster with Josuke's haircut. Not only his haircut, but his whole general style. Not only his whole general style, but the shape of his face is this time-traveling Josuke.
And this is whoever this guy is, this Josuke, he's also, like, badly hurt right now. He is bleeding and bruised. Mm-hmm. And every time in this flashback, because, like, in this flashback, you can hear Josuke's mom, talking and stuff. But every time this teenager talks, you don't hear his voice. Instead, it goes to like a silent movie dialogue card where his dialogue gets typed out letter by letter.
Well, otherwise it would be obvious this is time-traveling Josuke creating his own aesthetic in an ontological paradox.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this teen like takes his school jacket off, puts it under the wheel to give it some traction, and he starts pushing the car and is able to free it.
Yeah. He lays down his jacket as a mat to get some traction. Good move. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, the actual floor mats of the car would be a lot better, but sure, whatever. The mistake is when he tells his mom, because this is fucking Josuke back in time, to hit the accelerator when you want to rock out of the rut while you're in neutral. Yeah. Hitting the accelerator is liable to dig the wheels in even deeper, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yes, young Josuke in the back just has this powerful memory of this man that saved his life and made his entire look, as hair especially, in tribute to this silent hero that they could never find later. You know why? Because he traveled back to the present. That's why.
Yeah. Another little bit of a flashback from like a few weeks ago or something where Koichi's asking Josuke, like, why is your hair like that? And he's just like, yo, it's just because the dude saved my life when he had that cool ass hair. I want to be like him.
So any insult to this hair isn't an insult to the hair, but to that man, to this wandering noble hero that saved his life. And that is why any insult cannot be left unanswered. Yeah. Everyone will be made to feel pain for speaking ill of this wandering hero. Yeah. But the way we come back from the flashback to the present isn't just like a fade out from that scene to this, but instead a crossfade from the Morio Town Square of 11 years ago to today. Yeah. Which has been totally re-landscaped in the middle, and even some renovations on the transit station, which I appreciate as a way to like make the setting feel a little more real, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's some cool shit. So after we come back from that flashback, Koichi goes, "Oh shit, watch out, Rohan's got a pen." And Okuyasu immediately winds up a kick to just knock this dude out. But Rohan's like, no, wait, don't fucking kill me. that story was just so fucking good. I need to write it down on paper before I pass the fuck out.
See, this is the real secret of people. They say they don't spend that much time working. There's a lot of hours they're forgetting to count.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Rohan is constantly making these notes when he's out on his 3-day weekend walking through the town.
Yep.
He's not counting those hours.
Yep. That's just research, man. He's working over the weekend. And so, yeah, as Rohan is like writing this note right before he's about to pass out from blood loss, Koichi's just like, man, he really is an incredible mangaka. And then Josuke finds Rohan. He's like, there you fucking are. And he just like punches the shit out of him some more and destroys all of the windows in the house in the process.
But our friend is also dedicated as well. We must respect both of these men for their incredible dedication.
And the ending of this episode is the next volume of whatever publication that Rohan's work is put in, like whatever Shonen Jump style thing. The new volume just falls on top of the frame, and it's the final page of that week's Pink Dark Boy, and it just says, due to sudden illness, Pink Dark Boy will be returning after a short 1-month break, because Rohan has gotten so fucked up by Josuke.
You insult the hair, you don't get the magic healing touch. Regular doctors gotta fix you.
Yeah.
Episode 16, let's go hunting.
Oh, man. Let's go hunting.
It begins with, Jotaro invites Josuke on a family hunting trip.
Yeah.
And he asks, hey, do you mean we're hunting for hotties with hot bodies? And he says, no. We're going to kill animals.
So something I want to ask you about, like, because it's visible almost from frame 1 in this episode. Did you notice that this episode looks really good? Like, compared to other episodes?
I mean, I noticed that Jotaro looks real good. He's got a special new outfit with new medallions.
Yes, yeah, he does get... He's got a heart that's made out of 2, like, curved dolphins, like, almost kissing each other.
Yes, dolphins that are kissing to make a heart shape. It's amazing.
And on his other side, he has what appears to be a protractor.
Lisa Frank-ass Jotaro.
But no, this episode is full of both like some pretty good animation spots, and also all of the like more still shots have really like far more detailed, like thick contouring to the outlines of everything. And also Josuke is absurdly expressive in this episode.
Yes. He when he gets excited, he has such an incredible face, and it happens several times.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Jotaro wearing the symbols of his profession. He is sea life and a measurement tool. This is the marine biologist uniform.
Yeah. Just never walk to the left of Jotaro, because you'll get fucking stabbed by that big-ass protractor thing. Like, goddamn. Someone's going to take an eye out with that.
It's okay. He's like 7 feet tall. Nobody's eyeball is high enough
to
have to worry.
True. I just love that the Joe on his hat is spelled with a dolphin and a sun.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
He loves dolphins so much. So the story of this hunting trip is that there is a rat that can use a stand. This rat got shot with an arrow, survived. This rat may have more will than Koichi.
Yeah. And it wasn't Keicho that did this. This was Akira when he had the bow and arrow. He was shooting random animals with it. This
rat has a greater will to live than Holly Cujo.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So because this rat has, animal senses, it's going to see him coming before their 2 big burly punch stands get close. So if you have Star Platinum plus marbles equals gun.
Yeah, we're immediately going to a field where Jotaro is training Josuke to do the same thing, and they're just flicking ball bearings super hard to just turn them into bullets. And so they've just got like cans lined up on this fence, just shooting cans.
And Jotaro, of course, expert. He is incredibly precise after all. If that rat sees him coming, it's the last thing that rat's going to see. But Josuke needs practice.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same level of precision as Star Platinum, and also just not the level of practice. He's only just started really fighting with his stand.
So with his 2 shots, he nails one can square, just obliterates it, and the other one, the ball bearing, embeds in the very tippy top of the fence. Does not quite get the can.
Yeah.
And his nephew's like, I give that an 85%. You're okay, kid.
Yeah.
So the whole like opening act of this episode though is Jotaro like talking about this rat like he's the dude from Jaws. Like he has such a fucking intensity about hunting and also a wealth of rat facts. It makes me very curious about his life as a professional fish looker.
Yeah, it seems like just because he may be a pro at fishes, he's got a decent amount of knowledge about just a lot of other animals. And also at this point, seems like he's got
the philosophy of the hunt in general.
Yeah, this dude is like a hunter tracker now. It's at some point. But yeah, he's just laying out rat facts. They're walking through this field and hey, we've already found some tracks. And Josuke's just like, those look like bird tracks, right? And Jotaro's just like, no. There's fucking, the number of toes on the back feet are different than the front. That's a rat. There's like this little S-shaped drag mark on the ground from his tail. And he's tracking it by mites he's finding on leaves.
They followed this track from the wilderness to a ravine that is fed by a drain pipe that, drains the excess irrigation and whatnot from a local farm. And he's like, that drain pipe, that's a rat house right there. Yeah. Let's set up some traps. And Josuke's like, hey, how come you don't put cheese in your rat traps? Because cheese is too good for this fucking rat.
Yeah.
This rat gets crumbs of tempura because cheese is too good for it.
Jotaro has a burning fucking hatred for this rat.
And also tempura, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
And as they're setting up all these traps, they're also setting up like a video camera to record to see if they can get any shots of this rat being here sometime during the day. Josuke's kind of looking around and he smells something weird and he sees a whole bunch of flies hanging out around some brush nearby. And when he pushes this brush aside to see what's going on, he finds a giant gelatinous meat cube full of rat corpses.
He finds the rat jelly cube. Everyone loves the rat jelly cube. You've heard of aspics, right? Probably not, because you're less than 60 years old. But yeah, it's basically what this is.
It's a cube of meat jello. Yeah.
With all the hair and the teeth and the tails and various body parts.
And this is a pretty sizable cube. It goes like almost up to Jotaro's knees. So this is huge. And
there's a lot of rats in this cube of rats.
And Jotaro takes a stick and pokes it. And it just immediately starts leaking blood all over the place. And he's just like, yep, this is a whole bunch of dead rats that melted and then congealed back into a cube. It's so fucking gross.
So this stand rat obviously can do this shit and also is territorial.
Yeah.
He's taken out the competition for this prime bit of rat land.
And so, they're just kind of out, in the middle of nowhere, essentially. But there is a farm nearby, like a farmhouse. And so they get up and pull out binoculars and are scanning the house. And they notice, okay, there's nobody outside. All the cars appear to be parked in that garage over there. And also the front door is just hanging open a little bit. Doesn't look good.
Yeah. This is a monster movie. This is a straight up monster movie. And Jotaro is our werewolf expert or whatever.
Yeah. So it's time to, go into this house, sweep it room by room real carefully, look for any tracks. Oh, there's some rat droppings.
Like the expectation is that whoever lives in this house is most surely dead.
Oh, yeah.
The first casualties after Keicho come from some fucking rat.
Yeah. Yeah, because they split up and they're searching different rooms, and Josuke goes into the kitchen. All the lights are off. It's pretty dimly lit, but he can see a refrigerator in there, and the door just opens up on its own, and bam.
Well, before they split up, Jotaro is like, okay, we're at the advantage because this rat is smart, but not smart enough to know what guns are or just like the concept of ranged weaponry.
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know.
So yes, Josuke sees this refrigerator door open itself, but wait, quote, nobody told me rats could open refrigerator doors. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, the rat did it. He fucking did it.
So as the door opens wider, and Josuke peers in from the doorway, he sees a cube of grandparent meat.
Yeah.
Kindly old Ma and Pa Farmer have been fused into their own meat jelly cube, and it's being kept cool in the refrigerator for the rat to snack on, one munchum at a time.
Yeah. And the grandparents are alive, by the way. They're just kind of twitching. They're twitching and moaning, but they're a meat cube. It's so fucked up. It is like, this is like JoJo Part 3, like violence we're seeing here. Maybe even worse, actually.
The most fucked up thing in this whole episode is that, they're still alive. I don't know if they're conscious. I hope not. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But eventually, the danger in the kitchen will subside. Josuke will say, I should help put these people back together with Crazy Diamond. That would be a good thing to do. Then he leaves.
It is like insinuated that he can, like, they say, oh, I can fix them with Crazy Diamond, but you never see it happen.
We can only assume, we have to assume, for the goodness of our hero, that he does sometime when we're not looking.
Yeah.
But no, those people are just dead and wiggling forever.
Oh, God. The rat is snacking on Grandma and Grandpa meat. It turns around and makes eye contact with Josuke while it's snacking. And it's not threatened yet because Josuke's, still basically outside the room by like a foot or so. And he goes, oh shit, this is my best shot. I gotta nail him right now. But there's a fucking table in the way.
Yes, so he has to very carefully, very cautiously, like hold his breath and lean and shuffle a little bit. Don't spook the rat, but get that table out of the way of his fucking like firing solution.
Yeah.
And then Crazy Diamond flips that ball bearing, direct hit into the shoulder, but the rat survives. It is not a fatal blow.
So yeah, the rat tries to run off, and Josuke kicks that table out of the way so it blocks the other exit out of the room, knocks a chair over, and the rat goes and hides behind it, and Josuke prepares another shot, but as he's waiting for the rat, it peeks out from around the corner and dies. It has a very dramatic death throw as it reaches for the sky before it keels over and dies. And this whole time, Josuke's like yelling for Jotaro, and he fucking never hears him.
Yeah. You're skipping the rat's counterattack.
Oh, right. The rat had a counterattack.
After the rat is hit, but before the rat dies, it summons its stand.
Yeah.
Its stand is a little, like, diesel punk walking tank.
Yeah.
With an angry little face, but then the face just sort of rotates on it, the vertical axis to reveal the artillery piece that it is. This stand is called Rat with 2 T's like the band. It is not named in this episode. It does not get a title card this episode.
Yeah.
But that is the stand's name. It is a ranged attack stand user. So it lines up a shot and fires this sort of barbed needle looking thing at Josuke, who's left wondering, how the fuck do I deal with this? He should get his own little, like, 1/5 of a second counter in the quarter like Rohan, but no. He's just left indecisive. Like, should I dodge? Should I swat it? And then Crazy Diamond apparently gets the idea to hold up a frying pan and block it with the power of cast iron.
It's a good thing that's not like like an armor-piercing thing, a projectile that stand shoots out.
So this is when the rat dies, and Josuke is continuing to, like, shout for Jotaro, like, hey, I got him, I found him. Also, yeah, great moment in the action to revive Auntie Em and Uncle Henry here, but no, doesn't happen. Doesn't fucking happen.
Yeah.
Jotaro arrives, he checks out the stand, he checks out the dead rat, and eventually he breaks the silence that made me wonder if Jotaro wasn't, like, replaced with a pod person or something.
Yeah, right.
But no, he's just slightly more quiet than usual to show a hand that is so gruesome it is entirely blacked out. I don't know what's going on here, but it can't be good.
Jotaro, his hand is melting and falling apart. because it turns out there is a second rat with the exact same stand. 2 rats were shot by this arrow.
On the other side of our Star Platinum, Part 4 version title card, Jotaro is calling 1-800-Speedwagon to give him an update and get some deets. While Keicho was shooting people to try to kill his sad monster dad, apparently Akira was just shooting people for fucking fun.
Yeah.
He wanted to play target practice with some rats and shot not 1 but 2 rats that have identical rat stands called Rat.
And by the way, these rats aren't normal looking rats anymore. They got like weird armor plating style growths on their heads. Yeah,
like sort of evil. A thick callus has formed a helmet.
Yeah. What happened with Jotaro when he encountered the other rat is it fired a shot at him, and with his super reaction time, he used Star Platinum because he saw the projectile and thought, this is a weird projectile. What the fuck is up with this thing? And Star Platinum grabs it between his fingers mid-air, but it's got needles on it, and even just those needles just brushing Star Platinum's fingers was enough to cause Jotaro's hand to start melting off the bone.
And he's like, hey kid, give me the good touch. Give me my hand back.
Fucking fix me.
Please.
Also fix those old people, please. I wish.
Yeah, right?
I wish we saw that happen.
It's back to tracking. They're not backtracking. They're back to tracking. And they find a trail of footsteps and droppings and little chewed bits of celery out in the field. This rat is going back into that ravine, back toward its home. I see. Ha ha ha. And Josuke makes one of those incredible, excited faces once they find this evidence of the trail. His eyes get so big and bright.
Yes. Those faces that Josuke makes in this episode, he almost reverts to like a 90s anime style with the way his eyes are drawn. It's really funny.
They're so dewy and colorful.
Yeah.
But their quarry has also earned a name. See, once they run back the footage on their stationary camera, they see that this second rat has a chewed up ear, so they're going to call it Bug Eaten.
Bug Eaten, like a bug ate a bit off a leaf, yeah.
Yeah.
Bug Eaten.
So the one surviving monster from the group of monsters survives with like this distinctive scar. Mm-hmm. This is the one specific xenomorph from Alien vs. Predator that got the predator net cutting into its carapace.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
They continue to track Bug Eaten here. Mm-hmm. They've reached a point where they're kind of on a dirt path that has kind of hills on each side of it. They're following the tracks, and all of a sudden, the track just stops dead in the middle of the path. Mm-hmm. And Jotaro goes, oh shit, this is the world's smartest rat. Because this rat is exhibiting behavior usually only seen in like predators and not rats, which is backtracking, where some animals will stop and then walk in the exact same footsteps they left. I don't know if this shit's fucking real or if Rocky made this shit up.
Backtracking behavior is in fact a real behavior that prey animals will do to avoid predators.
Okay.
However, like the narrator, yes, this is given to us by the narrator. It's been a while. Glad to have you back. Says it has never before been seen in rats.
Yeah, so this is the world's smartest rat.
Although this is after another bit of their tracking that I loved when they have to go through the big puddle.
Oh, yes.
I love this moment because they have to go through a big puddle. They're going to go down through, water up to their shins. Jotaro just like huffs and walks through the damn water, while Josuke takes off his socks and shoes and pulls up his pant legs as high as they'll go as he starts like stepping real daintily. He's grumpy the whole fucking time because there's 2 boys in that boy. He's very squeamish. He doesn't like to touch gross things.
Yeah.
But he has so much pride in his appearance, and we get to see it, and we get to see Jotaro play off of it when he hurries him up by mentioning the leeches in there.
Yeah.
The grossest thing possible. So he hurries as fast as he can, which makes him drop his socks and shoes and ruin them. The city slicker's ass gag.
Yeah. Yeah, you just see like a reflection of Josuke's face in the water as he sees all that shit go into the water, and he just like cries.
It's very good.
He just wails. Bug Eaton is backtracking now, and oh no, the hunters have become the hunted. This rat that is essentially a mounted sniper has gone off somewhere up into the hills that this path is surrounded by, and has the high ground advantage. And there's also tons of rocks everywhere, so it has tons of like snipers' nests to hide in.
Josuke reaches into some of the rocks down in the middle of this gulch. Why? I couldn't say, but what he comes out with is one of the rat traps that snaps on his fingers.
Yes, yeah, the rat Buggy somehow brought a rat trap with him to snap on somebody's hand.
So yeah, they go against the rat with traps and makeshift guns, and they are attacked with their own traps and the rat's own makeshift guns. It is a very clear and even reversal.
So they have both gone and hidden behind the one rock in this dirt path to get some cover, and they've got to come up with a plan to try and find this rat and take him out for good. You know, they've been firing at this rat with ball bearings, but the range is too great now. Ball bearings just can't go more than like 20 meters when they're flicked, I think is what was said earlier.
They need something much more aerodynamic, something meant to travel at great speeds with great accuracy, great distances. That's right, actual bullets.
Yeah, Jotaro reaches into his like satchel and just pulls out a shitload of bullets, and not like...
And by a shitload, you mean 4.
Okay,
it's
4
all
bullets.
The ammunition he could possibly smuggle into Japan.
Yeah. Thanks, Speedwagon Foundation.
Even they aren't all powerful. They couldn't get an actual gun into Japan.
Yeah. So these aren't like, like 9mm rounds or something for a pistol. These are like rifle rounds.
Imagine Star Platinum with a gun.
Yeah.
The most impossibly precise creature ever devised with a gun.
Yeah, Jotaro would be like the world's most incredible sniper.
He could have shot Dio from Japan.
Yeah, accounting for wind and all the other factors, totally. They're formulating a plan here with these bullets. Jotaro says Josuke is going to have to be the one to fire the shots. Basically, they need to determine where the rat is, and Jotaro wants to do this by making himself a decoy. He's going to run up the hill and get shot at, and then Josuke will have to seal the deal.
And he lays out the very correct rationale for why they're splitting the jobs this way. Even though he's the better shot, he's much better suited to be the decoy because he can be healed and Josuke can't.
Yep. Jotaro starts going up the hill, and this rat, he's got his rat stand out hiding behind a rock. Jotaro is dodging the sniper volleys here by using the world to stop time and just walk out of the trajectory of the bullets. I
love just hearing him shout Star Platinum the world.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So that works once.
Yeah.
The second time, the rat lines up a shot knowing that Jotaro is going to somehow dodge within the blink of an eye in stopped time. And so he was actually shooting at the rock behind him so that his dart would ricochet and strike Jotaro in the back post-dodge.
Yeah, and he gets nailed by like 2 bullets, one in his arm, one in his leg, and so Jotaro is just... The right side of him is just melting. It's just falling apart. And so he's fallen to the ground, and he can, like, barely get up.
If Akira Otoishi was as smart as a rat, they would all be dead.
Yeah. I love that probably the greatest threat to Jotaro so far, outside of Dio, is this fucking rat. This rat. If Jotaro was fighting this rat alone, he may have actually died.
Well, no. If Jotaro was fighting this rat on his own, he would somehow dig a hole into the ground.
That's right. He should dig a hole.
And then he'd win.
Never mind.
Holes in the ground always win.
Never mind. Yeah, he could have pulled out the dig a hole part 3 strategy and just dug underneath the rat and punched him from underground.
He's got this. It's fine.
Yeah. It's just been so long since he's hung out with Polnareff. And, it's been so long since, Avdol passed away that he's forgotten the dig a hole strategy.
So much like tense naval warfare, every time the rat fires, the rat is at the disadvantage of giving away its position, right?
Yeah.
So each of these shots that is just wrecking his nephew is giving Josuke more information on where to aim and fire. So this rat has cover. There is just enough of a rock jutting up between it and Josuke to cover him, but Josuke knows that, one more shot and he's got a dead fucking nephew.
Yeah.
So he takes the shot and he misses. And Jotaro, the shot glances off that rock. The rat is unharmed, and Jotaro, his heart falls somewhere into the dirt as his body is melting. His heart falls. But come on, man. You know the JoJo move. You've done the JoJo move so many times. He didn't miss. That's not what I missed.
That's on purpose.
So now that the rat knows for sure where Josuke's firing from, it comes from behind the rock to line up a shot. As expected. And now the real shot goes right down the barrel, as Josuke holds binoculars in a way that no one should hold binoculars.
Yeah, fucking vertically with his fingers threaded through through the middle of it. Yeah, it's how you would hold binoculars if you were doing a cover shoot for a fashion magazine.
Yeah,
Which tells me there must have been some fashion magazine Araki saw where somebody did that. He's like, that's a fucking sick pose.
Yes, he's holding the binoculars vertically so that over one eye is half a binocular, like a telescope, and the other half is just a glorified handle, I guess.
Yeah. Josuke fires that shot, goes through the barrel of the rat stand, and out the other way, goes clean through the rat. It's dead.
It's dead. It's the first stand user to die since Angelo.
Yeah.
The first villain to be killed since Angelo. I guess that's what you get for messing with grandparents,
Yep.
So Jotaro has a bizarre thought that I would like to walk through with you.
Yeah.
Quote, Akira's mutant stand rats got me thinking. They're reflections of our destruction of the environment. Are they?
I don't...
Because, the reversal of hunting, very clear, very strong, yes.
Yeah.
But other environmental concerns don't really come up. Is this rat's territoriality supposed to reflect the clearing of land for that farm? Nothing comes up to make me think of pesticides or improper land use aside from, standard farming techniques of the 1990s. Is it because the rat puts its food in the fridge like a little man?
I don't know. Yeah, I forgot entirely about Jotaro's lesson for this very special episode of JoJo right at the end that comes out of nowhere.
I guess you could say maybe at a stretch that the unconcerned man, the thoughtless man, is essentially vermin. But that's not what Jotaro said.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too, and I just can't... There's no, solid metaphor to put together from this episode, really. The animals become mutated and violent due to man's meddling, but, animals don't become more violent and, start shooting people due to pollution. I don't know.
We're polluting them with our magic stand arrows.
Yeah. Is the magic stand arrow pollution? I don't know, man. You got to work on that one more, Jotaro.
Why are so many of the most dangerous stand users animals?
I don't know.
It's the bird!
The bird! And the orangutan killed, fucking...
A lot of guys!
A lot of guys! 50
that
guys
orangutan killed a lot of guys!
Yeah! But yeah, with that little, thing from Jotaro there... That's kind of the end of the episode as both he and Josuke lock eyes, and Jotaro goes you know what? Josuke's actually a pretty reliable dude.
Yeah. He grew a lot today. Family bonding by going up north.
Yeah. I'm going to go hunt with my uncle over the weekend. He's going to teach me how to shoot a gun. Well, I'm actually going to teach him how to shoot a gun, but still.
The next episode needs to start with their 12-point buck hanging off the rack over by the Shell station.
Yeah. And by the way, while Jotaro's doing this whole ending monologue thing, he's still all fucked up, And it's not censored this time, so the whole right side of Jotaro is just a pink goo.
Just oozing pink goo.
It's so gross.
Imagine if, like, the skeleton was, like, if you could see the bones exposed beneath as the goo fell away.
Oh, what a nightmare. The rat stand is, like, the grossest stand in part 4, maybe. Or at least one of the most grossest. But yeah, that's the end of episode 16.
Like I said at the top, this does feel like the beginning of a new chapter. This specific episode, Let's Go Hunting, is very much the stand cops that sort of vibe. I mean, they got information from their informant, held by the Speedwagon Foundation.
Yeah.
And so they got to go take care of an evil stand user. Yeah, cool. But just the possibility space opened up by Heaven's Door is just a huge change in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. They do more with Heaven's Door. It's fun. Because, like, hey, the very next episode we're going to watch for next week is called Rohan Kishibe's Adventure.
Oh, boy. It's such a letdown, though, that they named that stand Rat because it's a rat.
Yeah.
And not, like, modern English because he will melt with you.
Oh, shit.
Right?
That would have been a good one, yeah.
Let me at him. Come on.
Thinking up stand names is a pretty fun thing to do when you're bored. Yeah, I really like these three. Let's Go Hunting is kind of like... Let's Go Hunting is a weird episode for me because it's such a quick stand fight. It feels like it wasn't even like a full chapter in the manga or something. It was just a really quick side thing that they were able to cram into a single episode. Yeah, I really enjoy the introduction of Rohan and what a fucking weirdo he is.
He's so off-putting. Like, yeah,
he's a creep.
He walks a tight line. Like, I can easily see there being a moment where, like, I don't want to spend time with this character ever again. You fell off the tightrope, buddy. No, you suck. I don't like you. We're not there yet, but I mean, I'm just saying that I can conceive of that being a thing that happens. Yeah. I can also conceive of him, like, having to socialize and come out of his weird, like, artist hermit hole and being like, I should be more of a normal, okay dude.
Yeah.
Maybe I would like to live in society and understand what friends are when they come to rescue their friends who they think are in grave mortal danger.
Yeah. I mean, so far, when people in this show get beaten up and don't die, they become much nicer, so...
Yeah, on the outside. I heard what's inside the Hazamada book.
Hazamada's the exception. He just sucks. There's no fixing that kid, I think.
Man, I went to bat for you in your episode, Hazamada.
Yeah.
Come on. So we will be back next week with episodes 17 through 19. Mm-hmm. Rohan Kishibe's Adventure, and then Segechi's Harvest, parts 1 and 2. I don't know what a Segechi is. I guess we're going to meet a new guy.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of new guys to meet still. I mean, look at that new opening.
Yeah, it's full of new guys. Some of the guys are girls.
Some of the guys are girls, which is very exciting. Got to get more girls in JoJo, please. I mean, the one that was added in this episode in this season was really fun. So,
and so's her son.
But yeah, thanks for listening. As always, if you've been enjoying the show, please let other people know about it, especially if you've got that friend who just knows about JoJo memes and has no idea what the actual show is. Because I don't know, I think this is a pretty easy way to get into JoJo by listening to this. And yeah, you can find us on the usual places: SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. What's that other place called? Spotify. We're on Spotify. And just let people know about our show and spread the word around. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it every single time. I'm sure people have been really looking forward to this one because Rohan has a reputation that is inescapable. I knew about this guy. I knew a little bit about this guy. Yep. There'll be plenty of Rohan, but I mean, literally next episode is all about him. So, but yeah, thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. To be continued. Later.